He'll set the groove. Oh, manly Mark, the man with the spark. He's got the wisdom, he's got the heart. Pull up a chair, stay for a while. Manly Mark will make you smile. He's got tales that twist and turn, a world of wonders you'll soon learn. Big band swing with a gentle tone. In his company, you're never alone. The horns will croon, the rhythm will sway. Mark's got stories to brighten your day. A dash of charm, a pinch of wit. Manly Mark's podcast, this is it. Oh, Manly Mark, the man with the spark. He's got the wisdom, he's got the heart. Pull up a chair, stay for a while. Manly Mark will make you smile.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode, another day of Midday Madness with Manly Mark. As always, I'm your host, Manly Mark. At this point, I don't know who else it could be, unless someone was having a fill-in for me. But if that's the case, we might just get Joe in here, see how he does. I bet you guys would like that. But again, as always, welcome and thanks for tuning in. If anyone is out there tuning in, give me a shout out on the comments, give me a question, hit me up, what you want to talk about. I'm always all ears, and if you're sending in those questions and I'm not seeing, then I'll try to find them on my phone or elsewhere. But if not, just kick back, tune in, and I think we've got a good show for you today. Again, it's Friday, so I don't want to get too deep or too heavy into anything in particular, but just kind of do a little recap of what we've been going through over the week. But I can't do that first without plugging the shows. Fee's just literally at the door staring at me, the death stare. You know, making sure I plug those products, plug that show. Don't worry. Hope you guys caught this morning's episode of the Feast Me. The Feast Me show with Manly Mark. Here I am at noon with you guys at Midday Madness with Manly Mark. And don't forget to tune in tonight at 9 p.m. with Night with Fee. I tell you that Night with Fee is wildly popular. People just really like and want to hear his opinions about relationships. So, you know, I tune in 15, 20 seconds here or there just to make sure the audio's good. And maybe I should actually start listening, take a little advice. But as far as re-listening to shows that I've already been a part of or I've already lived, I just don't need to do it. Every time me and Fee finish a show, I'll ask him, "Hey, what'd you think, man? I thought that was great." I say, "I don't know. I got to watch it." It's like, well, we just lived it, man. We just lived it. You know, don't you have a conversation with, here I am at Uncle Pat's Pub waiting on Jazzy J and T-Man. I'm going to know after the conversation with them whether or not it's good. I'm going to know after my conversation with you cats whether it's good or not. Well, I say that. But, yeah, you guys make sure to tune in to all our programming, and we'll have more things available for you as time goes on. We'll have Man with the Mirror is coming up. We say that a lot, but it actually is. Man in the Mirror is coming up. And Phil might be taking some trips, some business trips here in the next week or two. And we'll try to figure out how to get him going live so you guys can follow along with him and just have a good time. Because watch Fee live or watch Fee die on a road trip would be pretty cool. But the first thing I really want to kind of get into today is, well, we talked about it yesterday, the stock trades. And, you know, I specifically went after John Bozeman because he's implicated in this. And I say implicated, I guess it's not a crime yet. But, it certainly is shady and unethical, I would think. But we were talking about the stock tradings. And it's interesting because I got on X, formerly known as Twitter, today. And the White House had come out and made a statement regarding that. So I'll play the video of that, talk about that a little bit. But I'm interested. I'm glad that that issue made its way up to Trump. And we'll let you see what he thinks about that. But I came across this statement from a senator or congressman, we'll see. I can't remember, but it's Ron Johnson. Anyone who follows news or politics has heard that name. But he made a statement about this bill from Josh Hawley trying to make that against the law for members of Congress to trade stocks. And he says, I'll show it to you right here. Republican Senator Ron Johnson voted against a ban on congressional stock trading today in committee. He said the ban makes it unattractive for people to run for office. Huh. So, what are you saying there, Ron Johnson? Ron John? Are you saying that, hey, if we take the ability away from these politicians to make millions of dollars while they're in office, supposedly serving the American people, if we take that ability away because they have knowledge that could be considered in some terms insider knowledge, insider trading, if we take that away from Congress, it's going to make it unattractive and people won't want to do the job. Maybe we should want people to do the job who are actually there to do that job and not pocket millions of dollars from insider trading. So it's like, okay, Ron Johnson, don't care how pro-Trump you are, don't care how conservative you are. I can see right there that you're in politics to line your own pockets, and any issue that you support or push, I suppose, in the name of conservative values, again, is just a ruse because you're there to line your pockets. I hate that. I don't like it. That kind of thing just irks me because, I mean, I don't have a problem making money. I don't have a problem with rich people, but there just shouldn't be that kind of avenue to make that kind of money within politics. But, oh man, they're making tons of money elsewhere. And so I'll show you guys this video from the White House getting into Pelosi. And then we even have Pelosi being asked a question about the increased interest in her stock trades, and you can tell she doesn't like it. So I got a lot of videos for you guys today, a lot of reels and stuff to watch, and so if you guys don't like that part or that aspect, just let me know and I can cut it back and do a lot more talking. But I just think that I see a lot of news, see a lot of it from a lot of sources, and I just want you guys to be aware of it, just in case you aren't. But here's what the White House recently said about Pelosi regarding her stock trades. Check this out.
Have you talked with the president about his position on the stock trading ban bill before Congress? He obviously had pretty loaded comments about Senator Hawley. There's some reporting that they've since spoken. What is his position on the current status of that bill?
The president has spoken to Senator Hawley, who called him, and the president took that call. As the president said in the Roosevelt Room yesterday, conceptually, he of course supports the idea of ensuring that members of Congress and United States senators who are here for public service cannot enrich themselves. And the reason that this idea to put a ban on stock trading for members of Congress is even a thing is because of Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she is rightfully criticized because she makes, I think, $174,000 a year, yet she has a net worth of approximately $413 million. In 2024, Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio, this was a fascinating statistic to me, grew 70% in 1 year in 2024, and her portfolio outperformed every single large hedge fund in that same year, and even more than doubled the returns of Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. So I think the president stands with the American people on this. He doesn't want to see people like Nancy Pelosi enriching themselves off of public service and ripping off their constituents in the process. As for the mechanics of the legislation and how it will move forward, the White House continues to be in discussions with our friends on.
Have you talked with the president about his position on the stock trading ban bill before Congress? He obviously had.
I mean, as you can see, it's even the press secretary of the White House has strong opinions on it. Like the fact that we're even having to talk about this being an issue is in itself like, that should tell you everything you need to know. It's like, well, there's no reason these people, again, I don't know how many times I can say it, so I probably shouldn't say it a million more times, but there's no reason these people should be being elected to office to represent the American people and making millions and millions of dollars. I'm not hating on people who make money outside of service to the American government. Your $174,000 paycheck, Nancy Pelosi, should be enough. And we're just going to go ahead and jump right back into a video of Nancy Pelosi responding to the inquiries. So check this out.
Let me just read what he said. I'm sorry that we had some sort of technical issue. Nancy Pelosi became rich.
Why do you have to read that? We're here to talk about the 60th anniversary of Medicaid. That's what I agreed to come to talk about.
But I wanted
what that means in the election.
I wanted to give you a chance just to respond. He accused you of insider trading. What's your response to that?
That's ridiculous. In fact, I very much support the stop the trading of members of Congress. Not that I think anybody's doing anything wrong. If they are prosecuted and they go to jail. But because of the confidence it instills in the American people, don't worry about this. But I have no concern about the obvious investments that have been made over time. I'm not into it. My husband is, but it isn't anything to do with anything insider. But the president has his own exposure, so he's always projecting. He's always projecting. And let's not give him any more time on that, please. We're going forward here, and I'm very proud of my family. And while he might make fun of us, while somebody inspired by him breaks into our home and hits my husband in a deadly fashion, hits my husband over the head, and he thinks that's a riot, I'd rather not go into some of my other complaints about him right now. Rather to talk about the 60th anniversary of Medicaid.
Yeah, so right off the bat, she did not want to talk about that. She was like, whoa. I agreed to come on here to talk about this and that. Nancy Pelosi, maybe it was because it was CNN, but you should have known they were going to ask you a gotcha question. But if you notice, she said, it's something my husband's into, but it's a nothing, and it's nothing and nothing. The word salad. It's like, okay, yeah, you're guilty, Nancy Pelosi. We know it. Just let me watch the video. I guess if you could get away with it all these years, good on you. But I think you need to answer to the American people for that kind of thing. And so we get into, this just is, this should be an example of the broader corruption that you see in politics in America. Well, I say America, the whole world, but in particular America. It even bleeds down into my own state. John Bozeman, he's doing the same thing. So, I mean, again, I don't know anything about the guy's politics outside of he's a Trump guy, conservative. Arkansans love him, apparently. But he shouldn't be profiting off the knowledge he's gaining from the office we elected him to. It just shouldn't be happening. And so again, politicians are corrupt. Even the ones we don't think are, they always are. So they never meet your heroes, like they say. Not that Nancy Pelosi's my hero. I think Fee Smee might have a crush on Nancy Pelosi. He might have been saying something about it on this morning's show. So check out this morning's show, Fee Smee Show with Manly Mark, where you can catch Fee going into detail about his crush on Nancy Pelosi. But then right off the bat, I start seeing all this stuff in the news, and I think to myself, okay, well, I haven't really seen anything about the whole Trump-Epstein thing. I know that we talked about it yesterday. The demos are trying to sue to force him to release the Epstein files. And again, I'm always confused because I'm like, whoa. Now the demos are the ones who are saying release the files? Now the demos are the ones who are the conspiracy theorists? I don't know. It's just, again, it's weird. So is this whole stock thing, again, another distraction from the Epstein stuff? And as always, as we see more news on Epstein, or if they actually release the files and the documents, we'll post them here on the Feast Me Network, particularly on Midday Madness with Manly Mark. So I'm interested. I mean, I hope they definitely pass this law that will prevent Congress people from owning stocks or trading stocks. I mean, I don't like it. But yeah, is this a distraction from Epstein? Why is Trump still so reluctant to do it? Why are the demos having to sue him in the first place to release these? I was talking to a guy yesterday, and I take the opinion of either that there is something compromising or embarrassing, or that will just directly link our intelligence agencies or very close allied intelligence agencies to this list, to this Epstein. And so it would be bad for, I don't know, public relations for our own government and foreign governments. It would either affect the financial markets because so many prominent people would be implicated, or the guy yesterday just thinks Trump's just was buddy, is going to be implicated in this in these files. So as time goes on and Trump still just is acting weird about it, I don't know. So again, is this stock stuff? I hope it. The point is, if all these things are distractions, they're good distractions because I think they're important things to talk about. Like the stock trading. Very important thing to talk about. The Russiagate collusion, very important because that gets even deeper into some conspiracies that were, I say conspiracies, into some operations that were taking place in the 60s and 50s, 60s, and 70s. We'll talk about that in a minute. But back to the distraction angle. We all know the Russiagate stuff is real. They're really setting their sights on Hillary Clinton and Obama. I'll show you a video a little more getting into detail about that in a minute. But is stuff like that distracting us from the Epstein stuff? And if that's the case, the stock stuff's kind of a big deal. The Russiagate stuff's a very big deal. So does that mean the Epstein stuff's an even bigger deal? We'll find out, and you guys will find out with me if you guys tune in. Or I'm sure, well, if it's that big of a deal, everyone's going to be talking about it. But let's get into this Russiagate stuff because now, we've been talking about this for the last week or two, that Obama's been accused of treason by Trump. They're trying to implicate Hillary Clinton, accusing her of being heavily sedated on tranquilizers and drugs, things like that. It shouldn't be any surprise if you find out politicians on drugs. They're all drugged out of their mind. If you remember Andrew Gillum, who ran for governor of Florida against Ron DeSantis and almost beat him. Shortly after that, got caught in a hotel room with a male escort and meth. Well, and I'm pretty sure it was a dead male escort. Like it was he was implicated in some sort of, weirdo thing where they were doing meth and maybe the male escort overdosed or something. I don't know, but the point is like the fact that he almost won, that crazy guy, Andrew Gillum, and now he's trying to find his redemption arc and make his way back into politics. But he probably won't ever be the level of almost being elected the governor of Florida. So if you're surprised when someone says, "Oh, Hillary Clinton's on drugs," or even Donald Trump's on drugs, I don't know anything about Donald Trump being on drugs. I doubt that he is. The guy's never even had a sip of alcohol. But just look up Andrew Gillum and his drug-fueled frenzy. It's one of those things that it was big in the news cycle at the time, but if you can't remember anything, then you probably hadn't thought about it since then. But let's get into this commentary and a little more information on what's kind of unfolding recently with the Obama, Trump, and Hillary Russiagate stuff. And so you guys let me know what you think about this.
Well, the DOJ, the CIA, and the Director of National Intelligence said last week they'd be releasing the Durham classified appendix of the Durham whitewash. The classified Durham appendix shows Hillary Clinton personally approved Trump's Russia hoax and used FBI to, quote, put more oil on the fire. That's their own internal Democrat Party documents. But they're throwing Hillary under the bus. If you follow all of it, Obama came up with it with Brennan, Clapper, and Comey. They then came up with the plan and then used the DNC. The FBI also funded part of the Steele dossier. And then they had it through the Democratic Party. So they're now throwing her under the bus, just like they did in their cover stories 2017 when they had handwritten notes, Brennan, Clapper, the rest of them, with Obama and others saying, "Oh, yes, we're worried Hillary did this. We have to cover it up coming out. But, oh, Hillary did it." No, Hillary was working under Obama because he'd served his 2 terms. She was drinking heavily, taking barbiturates, taking painkillers, taking tranquilizers. That's all been declassified. We can tell you that. I told you that from our Secret Service sources. Having convulsions. And she was their front puppet. And so you got to love the rats leaving the sinking ship. Senator Chuck Grassley Thursday released the newly declassified annex from former special counsel John Brennan's report. The Durham annex contains previously classified information exposing a reported Clinton campaign plan to falsify and lie about President Trump to Russia. Grassley said, again, the Durham annex contains previously classified information exposing a reported Clinton campaign plan to falsely tie President Trump to Russia. Grassley said, Recall that it was just reported that FBI Director Kash Patel recently found the annex to the Durham report in a burn bag at the FBI. These lazy people, man. According to the newly declassified documents, Hillary Clinton personally approved the Trump-era hoax just a few days before the FBI counterintelligence agent Peter Strzok opened Crossfire Hurricane on July 31st, 2016, to distract from her private server scandal and to have an insurance policy against Trump. Remember that in the text? Hillary used the bogus dossier and conspired with foreigners and the FBI to spy on Trump's 2016 campaign. I mean, this is total treason. And all they did, and they tried to put me in prison with this crap. They sent the CIA after me. I'm not going to get back into it. It's just unbelievable the crap we put up with.
Oh, there you have it. You heard it from AJ himself talking about, man, this stuff is getting big. And the part where they have the documents, they found the documents in the burn bags. Like, are you kidding me? They're that lazy? Imagine committing crimes on that level and, I don't know, hey, you get rid of this evidence. It's real important that you get rid of this. Okay. How lazy can a person be? Or just short-sighted? Or it could be that they're literally that arrogant that they just thought that they would steal the elections and they would have time to either cover it up deeper, cover it up further, or eventually go back and get rid of the evidence. But they didn't, and they're too lazy. And now they're finding it. But again, I'm just interested to see how deep or far this will go. Because, again, Trump directly accused Obama of treason, and probably Hillary Clinton by association. And, there's just been years and years and years long of conspiracy-fueled things surrounding the Clintons and the Obamas, and like the Clinton Foundation in Haiti and things like that. So, I mean, nobody's got their nose clean in that. But I think this specific example ties in to a deeper thing that's been going under the current of American civilization and the media for years and years, and that is particularly something called Operation Mockingbird. And people call these operations like I did an episode on Operation Paperclip. You've got things like Operation High Jump, Operation Mockingbird, Operation Stargate. All these operations that the CIA, FBI have done and have declassified that people still just call conspiracy. But you can pull this information up on CIA.gov or about any of these operations and find declassified documents about a plethora of things. Like, one of those new age things we talk about sometime is the concept and the ability to remote view. And you say, what is that? Well, I'm not going to get into that right now. I'll do a whole episode because that's interesting. And but you can, if you get on CIA.gov and type in remote viewing into the search bar, you'll find tons of declassified documents detailing operations and experiments that our government did specifically with remote viewing and things like it. The results, the things they saw and witnessed, very, very interesting. But I just say all that to say that, when you hear something, Operation Slompy Dompy, everyone automatically assumes, okay, conspiracy. But all that to say, Operation Mockingbird is real. Is real. And so I'm going to read you a little bit about it, and then I'm going to even show you a video of Tulsi talking about it to give more credence and relevance to the fact that this is still happening today. So let's look at this slide. Hopefully I can read it. Okay, Operation Mockingbird is an alleged, of course they have to say alleged, but all the things they always say are alleged. Like, I don't know. I don't like the alleged. The alleged large-scale program of the United States Central Intelligence Agency that began in the early years of the Cold War and attempted to manipulate domestic American news media organizations for propaganda purposes. According to author Deborah Davis, Operation Mockingbird recruited leading American journalists into a propaganda network and influenced the operations of front groups. CIA support of front groups were exposed when in April 1967, Rampart's article reported that the National Student Association, NSA, received funding from the CIA. In 1975, Church Committee congressional investigations revealed agency connections with journalists and civic groups. Oh, civic groups. In 1973, a document referred to as the Family Jewels was published by the CIA containing a reference to a different operation named Project Mockingbird, which was the name of an operation in the 1963 which wiretapped two syndicated columnists, Robert Allen and Paul Scott, from March 12th to June 15th, 1963. They had published articles based on classified material. The document does not contain references to Operation Mockingbird. Let me just read a little more about that, set the stage a little bit. I mean, it tries to set it up as a little bit of like, maybe it happened, maybe not, but the whole idea that the CIA and intelligence agencies are paying and using journalists to push ideas and narratives. Okay, well, I mean, if you even just read about the American support for World War I. Well, the Americans didn't want to get involved in World War I. So what they did was they would get groups of people together and go to these towns and say things like, well, don't you know everybody over in Clarksville's just, they're going crazy about this war. They're excited to get involved. They're supporting the war effort. They're buying the bonds. They're excited. Their sons are ready. They believe in the cause. Huh, aren't you guys patriotic like them? Yeah. We want war too. Woo. And that's just an example from a time when there wasn't as much worldwide spread media, but you can see the implications of, well, you just, by virtue of getting folks to keep up with the Joneses, you raised a lot of support for a war that didn't have a lot of popularity to begin with. And so the idea that, again, the CIA or the FBI or these intelligence organizations might have their money in some of these outlets, CNN, MSNBC. Well, honestly, I'd honestly be willing to bet all of the top news media outlets and even some of the minor ones have people within them who are shills for the intelligence agencies. So let me get back into the Project Mockingbird, reading about it a little bit. In the early years of the Cold War, efforts were made by the United States government to use mass media to influence public opinion internationally. After the United States Senate Watergate Committee in 1973 uncovered domestic surveillance abuses directed by the executive branch of the United States government, and the New York Times in 1974 published an article by Seymour Hersh claiming the CIA had violated its charter by spying on anti-war activists. Former CIA officials and some lawmakers called for a congressional inquiry that became known as the Church Committee. Published in 1976, the committee's reports confirmed some earlier stories that charged that the CIA had cultivated relationships with private institutions, including the press. Without identifying individuals by name, the Church Committee stated that it found 50 journalists who had official but secret relationships with the CIA. In a 1977 Rolling Stones magazine article, the CIA and the media reporter Carl Bernstein expanded upon the Church Committee's report and wrote that more than 400 U.S. press members had secretly carried out assignments for the CIA, including New York Times publisher Arthur Hayes Schultzberger. Oh man, a lot of Steens and burgers in the press. Columnist and political analyst Stuart Alslop and Time magazine. Bernstein documented the way in which overseas branches of major U.S. news agencies had for many years served as the eyes and ears of Operation Mockingbird, which functioned to disseminate CIA propaganda through domestic U.S. media. Okay, so that kind of gets more into detail. It explains it, kind of like I just did, a little better though, about how, well, our government agencies are paying the media to sway our opinion on whether that be war or policies or culture. It's just, well, I mean, you can just clearly see that that's not a stretch to assume that they're doing that. You see it all the time. You see these narratives all the time, especially COVID. You're killing the grandmas. You're killing the babies. The media pushes these narratives specifically to control you. And it don't matter who's paying them. I mean, I guess we're off with Operation Mockingbird. It's the CIA. But you see that these media organizations you can buy them off. I could buy them off if I had enough money, I could make Sean Hannity of Fox News say the Feast Me Network's the best thing he's ever heard. Now, he isn't going to be saying that. At some point, he might not ever admit it on air, but he'll be chit-chatting with his little cigar pre-show, talking to the cameraman, saying, "Hey, man, did you catch last night's Night with Fee? Woo-wee, help me out." Anyways, but back onto the Mockingbird, it's shrouded in what's considered conspiracy. Sounds legit enough, but here we have Tulsi going on to detail that she believes, even though people want to deny it, even though people in our intelligence agencies would deny it, that yes, Operation Mockingbird is still in effect. They claim these things end, but come to find out they're still happening. And so keep the context of what I just read in mind whenever she's talking about it, because the point is for these intelligence agencies to pay off the media to persuade the public opinion. So check this out, guys.
The media being used as a propaganda mechanism, we saw it flatly. I mean, I think it's the smoking gun, quite frankly, of the Obamagate narrative and the Russiagate narrative, that it was so baked in that the New York Times and Washington Post went and ran with it. Some would say that that's part of Operation Mockingbird. Some would say that that's part of what we learned in the Church Committee, that the intel agencies were using media outlets as their mouthpieces, and that those mouthpieces would parrot the official narrative. And I wanted to ask you, is this operation still going on? Are you aware of the intel agencies working directly with media outlets in order to push prescribed narratives that may or may not be true?
It's something that we've already had to deal with, Benny, within this administration, where there are people within the intelligence community who believe that their will is more important than the will of the American people, and will weaponize intelligence by leaking it to their friends within the mainstream media with the intent of undermining President Trump's agenda. It is not one that he hasn't already talked about in every rally and town hall that he did throughout the campaign. I don't even know how many there were, but President Trump is enacting the very thing he promised the American people he would do in this election. So people in the intelligence community, they may agree, they may disagree. That's not the point here. As intelligence professionals, as people who work in the national security space, in the intelligence community, they are required to fulfill their mandate to their oath to the Constitution of the United States, and to the President of the United States, who was duly elected by the American people. Those who leak intelligence to their friends in the mainstream media with the intent of undermining the president who was elected by the American people, none of these intelligence professionals were. They are subverting the will of the people and therefore undermining the Constitution.
It's wild that you're still having to deal with that. Call it what you will. But Operation Mockingbird, just incredible that they were just out with it, that they were using the media as government organs to push propaganda, and it's still happening today.
This is why what we're doing is so important, Benny, and this is why President Trump's mandate in this is really critical, is by exposing the truth, by exposing the bad actors within the intelligence community and in the political space who are weaponizing intelligence to advance their own political interests, is so important to be able to turn the light on in places that have been dark for far too long, expose the truth, and drive accountability. That's the only way that we can actually shift this and begin the work to try to restore trust in the intelligence community.
Man, I mean, they just get right into it. I mean, that goes to show that the media has been used as a propaganda arm of the government for years and years. And personally, I find this thing, just particularly aggravating, because anytime you talk to someone about anything, I saw on the news last night about this. Ooh, man, I don't know. I think they're trying to mislead you. This is kind of more along the truth. Well, what makes what you saw any better than what I saw? What makes you're sitting there telling me my Fox News or my CNN is fake, but what makes your Twitter? I don't trust stuff on the internet. Okay, well, in a sense, these people have been raised, born and bred with a TV in their house for their whole lives, so of course they have a more distrust of the internet. But the idea is, it's like, how many people are locked into getting news or talking points or thinking points from one or two or three media sources that are all owned by the government. And so, like today on the Feast Me show, Phil was talking about how he feels like he does deep dives and he feels like he gets this good info, but it's he doesn't understand why or where I'm getting it that's a little deeper or a little earlier. And it's not a comment on Fee or his research abilities. It's just, I think the medium in which Fee's 60, people in his age group, and I'm not hating on people in his age group, have consumed knowledge and news or media or current events prevents them from seeking out other sources that are true. I mean, again, you have to use your intuition. You have to look at a lot of places. You can't just hear one person or one thought and one opinion, and that's what you go with. It takes a lot of thinking to figure out what is actually going on with any given topic or situation. And again, I'm not the professional. I don't know what's going on with anything or everything. I'm not some deep intellectual man. I like to think. I like to think about thinking, and I like to think about how I think and how other people think. But it might make me sound wishy-washy, but it's just I want to hear a lot of different sources about a certain topic before I make up my mind that that's what's happening. Because I've seen too many times. You turn on Fox, they might say the Russians are falling out of the sky on your heads. Then you turn on CNN, and they're saying, "Oh, Trump, he just threw up on live TV. Don't you see this?" And you're like, "Well, what's going on?" And that was a bad example, but the point still stands. They're using the media as propaganda, and I think you can see in part that shifts policy, that shifts public opinion on wars and policy and politics, but it also affects the culture. I think it affects the culture negatively. In that, like I said, this is a Friday recap show, and I haven't even seen the ad, but there's an ad going around with that Sydney Sweeney gal, on American Eagle, and they said something about jeans because she was wearing jeans, and now everyone's saying it's fascist and throwing a fit about it, white supremacy because she's blonde hair, blue eyes, and just throwing a big old fit about it. And like I'm about to show you a video of some, influencer girl who's crying about it, but just listen to the arrogance of it. And it's a girl who's very beautiful, for one, but just listen to I'll let you listen to it and make your own opinions, but just listen, because I don't even know what to say about it. Just listen.
I really wasn't going to weigh in on this, but here we go. It is so difficult to grow up as a person of color, specifically a woman, and view yourself as beautiful in any sense of the word growing up in this country. I remember growing up in a predominantly white community, wishing myself out of this body, out of this culture, take my name, if it meant that I could wake up blonde-haired and blue-eyed, never having to explain who I am or worry about being accepted. That is why this American Eagle ad with Sydney Sweeney is especially off-putting. There's a lot of rhetoric right now online about the political ideologies that this represents, and I don't discount that, but for me, I can't help but think about the 13-year-old brown girl who gets all her denim at American Eagle, who already struggles to see her beauty and worth in a world that continues to value white, Eurocentric beauty standards, which I naively thought by this point we would have moved the needle on. And this girl is now wishing she too could wake up with blonde hair and blue eyes. It took me so long, too long in my life to look in the mirror and see beauty. And I hate that continues to be a shared experience for young brown girls in this country.
I guess if you were dumb, you might think, oh yeah, I feel so bad for her. Well, first off, you didn't have to buy the American Eagle to begin with when you were a kid. Okay, secondly, you talked about how you wanted to be out of body, out of culture. there's a whole majority of a world where you look like the people around you. You don't like the culture where these white people live, but you don't want to go to the cultures where everybody looks like you. Okay, I mean, just how ridiculous is it that, the last several years you've seen just ads pandering to, I don't know, POCs, people of color, obesity, queer ideology, just these things that are not necessarily attractive or appealing to the average American person, right? Like you see these ads for these, I don't know, lingerie or these fashion, and they've got, I'm not sure I mean, but people I don't want to see in lingerie on the billboards. And it's like, well, you know how you're really going to sell it? Put someone that looks like Sydney Sweeney on it. It has nothing to do with racism. It has nothing to do with white supremacy or standards of beauty. Go to a place where everybody looks like you, and you might do a lot better. Instead of sitting here trying to change our culture, our beauty standards, you can get into that with art. I mean, art is so subjective now. It's not even, I don't even get into that because people get mad, but like, beauty is not subjective. Beauty, they say beauty is subjective. You know, you got all these just terrible, disgusting looking abstract pieces of art that people say, look at the beauty of the, and it's like, no, that's not beautiful. It's a piece of money laundering for some rich benefactor to launder his money. That's all that is. I mean, you can look at something and inherently, we were given a divine spark to know inherent beauty. So it's like, I don't think beauty's, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I love, chain, I'm not getting any of that. I'm just simply saying they're seeking to destroy a beautiful culture and make it ugly, instead of going to their own culture and enjoying it. And I'm not saying that woman's not American. I don't even know where she lives or where she's from, but if you don't like the culture that everyone else looks different around you, then go to a culture, go to a place where they look like you. It's that simple. But not only that, I'll show you this video of Joe Biden talking about Kamala, but it's like the idea of, like that gal I just showed you, that woman. They want to radically change society so that it's more appealing for brown girls like her to buy denim, I guess, even though I don't see why a brown girl couldn't see that woman, Sydney Sweeney, think, oh, she's good looking, look at those jeans, I want to go buy me a pair. It's that easy. Or find a plethora of other ads that feature people that look like you. But they want to change society just for the sake of changing society. They don't actually want to bring any more value or purpose to our society or civilization. They just want representation for the sake of saying, look at me, look at me, look at me. And I say that to say, once you see this Kamala Harris video, you'll see, okay, well, just watch it. You'll see.
And I was proud to ask Kamala Harris to run with me, be the first black woman to serve as Vice President of the United States. It was important. As president, I made the cause of civil rights and equality the foundation of everything I did. For example, I promised to have an administration that looked like America.
Well, you see, if you told me, I want you to be my running mate for vice president, not because of what you've done in your life to prove yourself, not because of your inherent value or skill. I want to pick you because you'll be the very first black vice president ever. And that'll look good for diversity. Whoa! So you see the women, like that woman who was griping about the ad, who are just so oppressed that she's sitting there making a video while she's putting on her makeup, griping about the white culture, white supremacy, knowing good and well that the women or the people who look like her can't succeed by their own metric, by their own inherent value or skill. I mean, there are plenty who can. It's not a broad stroke statement. And so instead of finding the people who look like me who are good and valuable at skills and things, let's just put people in these positions for the sake of doing it. Okay? DEI hires. That's why you're having airplanes fall out of the sky. You're having, a bunch of medical problems because they're hiring doctors just for the sake of checking off the boxes. I don't know, folks. It's a mess. It's a mess. And, well, I think in part this American Eagle ad is part of the solution because they're going back to giving us advertisements we want to see. Not ugly things to look at. I mean, not to sound hateful, but I want to look at something good looking. I don't want to see a whale in denim that I could use as a jacket or 3 jackets. No offense. But anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up just because I feel like that was a good place to end on Friday. They've taken the culture. They've taken the culture over. There's an info war going on. There's a cultural war going on. There's real Connecticut wars going on. We're under attack anywhere you look. And if you guys want a little entertainment or a little peace of mind on the side or a little solution, keep on tuning in to the Feast Me Network because we'll be here talking to you guys all the time. I guess every day, Monday through Friday, 12 noon for me, Central Standard Time for Midday with Madness Mark. And again, if you like the show with just Fee, you don't like my ramblings, don't like my conspiracies, hey, that's fine because you got Night with Fee Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. And if you like a little mix, a little balance, a little crazy, a little calm, a little news, a little chit-chat, then you check out the Feast Me Show with Mainly Mark, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. So, guys, I hope everyone has a great weekend. I'll see you again Monday morning, 9 a.m. And any comments, you guys, any questions, just throw them up on the videos. I'll be happy to answer. So, guys, stay safe. God bless you.